Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Stormworks. We are once again working on our frigate. We are back, and I did a little bit of work off camera, mostly just trying to kind of count blocks on the inside, make sure we can make some floor plans work, that kind of thing. But other than that, not really much. But in today's episode, we're just going to keep working on the frigate. So we kind of left it off in a spot where it needed a little bit of work, and it's gotten a little bit of work, but we need to really start figuring out a lot of the inside before I continue building, because the shape in here is really, really awkward. So basically, I need to figure out if we can make this kind of work without major modification, and if we can, then we're good to kind of start filling out the inside, and if not, then we're probably gonna have to make some major changes, and that is something that I would like to figure out sooner than later. And by that I mean pretty much as soon as possible, especially if I plan on putting pipes everywhere in my typical fashion. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working on today. I'm going to be working mostly on this bridge area, so we're going to be doing a little bit of work on this. And other than that, we are going to maybe shape up the front of the ship a little bit too. But yeah, we're really just trying to kind of make this thing work. And you can notice that from last episode to this episode, we did kind of start that catwalk across and around the front of the ship. Now I am just going around with the door blocks quick, trying to seal this off. This is our hangar back in the back here. Now we're gonna have to make some pretty major modifications to this. This is not big enough to use, so we are going to have to get in there with the copy and paste tool and move things around for sure, but that'll come in a later episode. I don't think we'll get to that yet, but yeah, just kind of expect that. That is one of the things that is going to change for sure, is the back half of the ship is going to get a little bit longer, and the flight deck and hangar bay is definitely going to get a little bit bigger and more usable, which will be pretty cool. So anyways, the first couple episodes did really, really well, so I am glad that you guys are liking them. I was kind of excited to get this thing built, so I rushed into it. Now there's it's not very, I haven't worked on it too much lately, if I'm being honest, so kind of a little fun thing. I've been really distracted in the background lately with a heads up display, so I'm not really recording that. It's been a long process of me programming, but basically I'm trying to make a universal heads up display that you all can use in basically whatever vehicle you want. So it'll be good for helicopters, planes, boats, tanks, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, so I've been a little distracted with that. I probably should maybe work on that a little bit less and start working on the frigate a little bit more, but we're a good amount ahead. I just kind of thought that was funny and I would share. So I do plan on getting that heads up display on the workshop, just so you guys know. And when it's done, I'll kind of make a video about it, but it should be fairly customizable and pretty easy to use. But yeah, just kind of keep your eye out for that. Again, if you want me to kind of share some, like maybe some progress pics, or maybe like a short or something like that, maybe I will, but I'm not going to do any like YouTube videos on it. I'm not going to do a series on it, because it really is just me in and out of the Lua controller, or the Lua block, and then also a couple like different websites that I'm using to kind of help me draw some things out. So it's not really good for a good video, but if you want, I have been kind of hanging out in the Discord and live streaming a good chunk of that. So I usually do that later in the afternoon if you are over here in the United States. But yeah, so there's a link down to the Discord. Now, a couple of you did tell me that was not working, so I have updated the link. It should work for you now, but if it doesn't, definitely let me know down below, and I'll try to figure something out. It should be working though. So yeah, there should be a link down below for you guys to click if you do want to see some of that. Now, I can't promise you I'll be on or give you a schedule or anything, but yeah, I have been kind of trying to hang out in one of our voice chats to just hang out while I'm doing the programming. I don't really need to record it, so I might as well just talk with a few people and kind of just chit chat, play the game. It's a long, mundane process, programming things like that, especially when you do it for a few days on end. But anyways, I'm just rambling. We're just kind of just doing random work all over the ship. I'm trying to get this thing a little bit more polished up, maybe get our doorways in, get our stairways in, that kind of thing. So we're just partitioning off this central hangar from the helicopter hangar, and just trying to divide these up a little bit, trying to make it feel a little bit more structured on the inside of the ship, and kind of give you also some pretty clear walkways and paths that you will be using. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. This episode, we're going to be really all over the place with working on this ship. I'm just trying to make the shape a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner, a little bit easier to use. And, well, not necessarily easier to use, but, a little bit more just kind of cleaned up, just, less jagged edges and random, walls and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're working on, just trying to clean it up. And you guys can see on the inside there, the inside is fairly empty. So that is something that we'll have to start working on in the coming episodes. But for now, I think that, again, I'm just trying to get the outside to a spot that I kind of like it. And then also trying to kind of plan out some of the shenanigans that I want to get done with this ship. So you guys can see I was playing around with the ammo belts a little bit there. Now we are going to have to route those down into a central storage room. But I think I'm going to try to get some railings down first. And I always like getting the railings down. I feel like it makes the ship look a lot more put together and finished. So that's always kind of a fun, quick little thing you can do early on in your build to kind of make it look a lot more detailed. But so for that central hangar, I originally, and I think I talked about this a little bit in the last episode, but I wanted to put a plane in there and then have a crane to recover it. And I quickly realized that would be pretty tricky to do, especially because that's a pretty small hangar, especially for a float plane. So you would either have to make a not float plane float, or make the hangar a lot bigger, and then also find room for a crane. And the back deck is not a good option if you want to use it for helicopters still. So anyways, that idea kind of failed and is not going to be what we end up doing. So what we actually end up doing is I put some dinghies down there and some cranes, and I think it ends up looking really, really cool. But I was originally thinking of maybe putting some weapons in there, but I think we have enough weapons on this thing. You guys will kind of see it in a later episode, and I know I talked about this in the last episode, but if you didn't catch it, we're going to have 4 light autocannons, one on all, or facing each direction, and then we're going to have 2 MLRSs, multiple launch rocket systems, and then we have the 2 heavy autocannons, one on each side, and then the heavy artillery cannon in the middle. So we're not doing missiles or rockets or anything like that, which I know, kind of a bummer. I did kind of want to do that, but that's my fault because I didn't think I had enough to plan out where we were going to do that. But I do really like this shape, and I'm going to quit blabbering on about that because right now I'm working on the funnel, and I think that this ends up looking actually really, really cool. So I'm just going to put a slight slant to that, and we're going to actually we're going to make that a room inside there that you will be able to actually walk into. So it's going to have a pump from a pipe from every single cylinder in the hull that brings up all of the exhaust and brings it out. So there's going to be a lot going on in there, and I know you don't need to use that many pipes. You don't need to give each cylinder its own exhaust, but I generally like to, and I think it looks a little bit more realistic having a big bulky kind of air plenum on the engine, and we'll kind of get to that when we do the engine room, but the engine is really, really cool. And I really, really like the engine room on this ship as well. So, but yeah, I do like kind of the idea we're going for with this funnel. I don't know if I like the height, so we're going to play around with that a little bit and see if we can find kind of a height or an angle that we like a little bit more. And if we find something, then we'll kind of keep that. But I wanted to slant this down a little bit with 1x4s, but I don't know if we're going to be able to make it really work. But I think that doesn't look terrible, but maybe we would have to bring the funnel forward a little bit, and it does look maybe a little short. So maybe we still should play around with that, but I do kind of want to do something like that with the slant with the 1x4s. So we'll just kind of keep playing around with the blocks and see if we can find something that we like. Now, I will kind of change quite a lot of the kind of vertical spacing of some of these things as we build. And I think I talked about this a little bit too. So like the radar dish. The radar dish is a good example. The radar dish is going to be a part of the ship that does get extended a little bit up to make it look a lot taller. So I do bring the radar dish up, I think about a meter, and then maybe a couple more blocks after that too. So we're going to change quite a lot of this. And the thing is I want this little smokestack thing to be, since we're slanting the walls around it, maybe we don't need to slant the black rings. And maybe we'll see how that looks instead of pulling the whole thing forward. So I'm going to give that a go. And let me just kind of get these all merged together quick. And let's check that out. Ooh, I gotta not grab these triangles. Let me change that. And yeah, let's just move that forward. I think it looks a lot better being a lot more forward. So let's just try to wall off the back. We'll check out how that looks. And I think that this might be a winner, this one. So if not, we can always come back to it, play with it a little bit more. You know how it is. We can play with things. This is easy to modify. So it's not really that critical right now either. I'm just trying to get a shape that I'm happy with, and I tried to do like some sort of smooth slant back here, but I honestly think just the flat wall might be one of the better looking options we'll have. So I do think later on we'll probably extend that for some reason, like whether it be, you know, cargo or a turret or, you know, some sort of equipment, I don't know, something. But that is an easy wall that we'll probably extend in the future just because we can. But anyways, I wanted to get a door in here like I mentioned earlier, so we're going to see how bad we did with the height and to see if we could get an actual door in here. And it's not too far off, but I'm just going to get these pipes in. We're going to try to get the top part of this all sorted, and then maybe if we need to, you know, copy and paste stuff, we'll have everything ready to go, and it will be a lot easier to kind of modify and move around. So I'm just going to tee all of these off. We're going to bring them up a couple blocks, and then we are just going to throw some exhausts on them. So I might put some catalytic converters on it later. If not, you know, it'll just be pumping out tons and tons of smoke, which I'm kind of okay with, but also you know, maybe I'll add a few just to kind of make it a little bit stealthier, I guess, which is a joke because this is not going to be stealthy at all. But anyways, I'm playing around with extending that wall a little bit, which I think we can definitely play around with that later. Definitely onto something with that. We can't do the dual smokestack. I just thought that would kind of be fun, but we can't do that. There's a hangar underneath there. But I definitely think we will extend that wall back there later on, and we'll kind of have some sort of radar dome or equipment or something. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just going to start running this exhaust, see if we can get it semi-routed to where it needs to go. So it's got quite a ways to go. And as you can see, we've got quite a lot of pipes here. So I wasn't joking when I said that each cylinder is going to get its own exhaust pipes. So just that's kind of the plan. We've got a lot of piping to go. And so we're just going to make this big, giant, dark vent. And that's going to run through the whole ship. So we've just got to bring this down to the level of the engine and then just turn it on a 90, which shouldn't be too bad, and hook everything up. So that is kind of where that stands. And yeah, it's kind of nice to get that sorted out. I think the funnel back here definitely balances it out a little. And I'm just trying to play around with shapes on top of the hangar right now, especially with maybe some windows that we want to add on later on. Now, I will say all of this is going to kind of change just because, as I said earlier in the episode, the hangar is going to get modified quite a bit just because it's a little too small right now. So we definitely are going to have to make it bigger, especially if you guys want to use this with your own helicopters or your own creations. This is not going to work. So, you know, I know it was kind of a fun, cute thing with the carrier to have all of these tiny, tiny planes, but, you know, realistically speaking, people want to bring like an actual, you know, attack helicopter onto one of these, or a cargo helicopter or something like that. But anyways, enough of that. We're going to move back into into working on the railings a little bit. I'm going to get some railings on top of the hangar, and that will kind of keep you from falling off over into the ocean, which is a pretty important thing, especially in bad weather. And the other thing too is we're going to have to kind of go around some weapons, but yeah, we're going to get a lot of weapons back here on top of this roof. Nice flat area that we can kind of cram a bunch of turrets. So we're going to think about that a little bit while we're placing these railings too. But yeah, this deck back here, this is where we're going to get our MLRS turrets. And we're also going to have one of the light autocannon turrets back here too that will kind of act as like an AA. So kind of going to have a lot going on this deck. And once again, we're going to have to make it bigger. But for now, we're just getting the railings, and it will make it feel a lot more kind of put together like we were talking about earlier in the episode. And it'll give me a feel for space a little bit better because the railings are, you know, a easy piece that we can reference visually that doesn't change in the game at all, size-wise at least. So it's, you know, sometimes it can be hard, especially when you have these large flat faces and there's no paint or anything like that. So as soon as you add the railings, a lot of times it makes it feel a lot more put together because you have something visually that you can compare the scale to. That's why I like doing it. And we're just going to play around with the paint a little bit too, but we are heading towards the end of the episode, so we are going to you know, kind of have to wrap it up here soon. But yeah, I think we made some good progress today. We are all over the place, absolutely, I won't lie about that. And this is one thing I wanted to play around with. I wasn't super happy that this was just a hard corner back here. Now the door is going to fold into the hangar, so we can kind of slope that down, and it'll give us actually the correct clearance, because that'll give us a few blocks that come down from the door that the helicopter will have to clear to make sure that it doesn't smash into the door. So it might look a little goofy, but it's actually gonna probably help us in the long run. Now I am going to just get the last little bit of our railings placed in. I'm not going to place any railings around the flight deck, so just kind of be careful over there, I guess. But yeah, we're just going to give them a little bit of paint in the middle. I like to put the stripes in the paint just to add a little bit of variation. And we'll come back and, you know, fix all of this up with actual paint blocks. But yeah, we're just going to, you know, outlined the deck in some white paint here, just so you know. It's also a nice little marker when you're walking around to, you know, kind of for safety reasons, just like the white or the yellow paint that we have going around. The yellow will, or the white will just, you know, tell you, hey, this is the border. So it's another nice little paint detail we can do. Now, I played around with changing the color of the floor in here. I think we're just probably going to leave it green, especially because it stays outside. So the last thing I want to do in this episode is get this thing painted up red on the bottom, and that will help a lot with the looks too. So not going to be a super complex process, this one. I do get annoyed sometimes that the paint bucket tool will paint blocks across the ship if they're on the same plane. So a lot of times I do this manually. For this time I just, you know, I gave the paint bucket a shot and it seemed to work out pretty well for me. So maybe I'll do that a lot more going forward. But yeah, usually I painstakingly will change the color of the ship manually. And yeah, see, it looks like we only have one block that bled over here. So we are going to just kind of clean that up, and in the next episode we will start working on the interior a little bit more. I promise we'll stop messing around with the blocks outside. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all we got for today's episode. So if you stayed to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It looks like we are not floating. That is awesome. So we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.